Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to No Final Bell. And we finally hit a 100 episodes. Never
Yes,
thought it would be possible, but thank you to the fans for making that
yes,
possible. If it wasn't for you guys watching our content, we wouldn't
yes.
be
Thank you,
continuing
guys. Oh,
doing
my
this.
beer is in the shot. I'm sorry. Thank you, guys.
So we're going to be talking about, it's going to be a lot of AEW coming your way,
Yes,
so do bear with us for this whole entire journey. Um,
there's a lot to talk about with
yeah,
AEW.
start.
And it's across four different programs. So we're talking Dynamite, Rampage, Collision, and Battle of the Belts,
Yes.
which is the eighth one,
Yeah,
right?
eighth
Yeah, Battle
one.
of the Belts eight.
So we start off with Jay White and Penta El Zero Miedo.
Yes, that was a great match, by the way.
These two, brought it.
Started off hot too.
Yeah, it did. Penta El Zero Miedo started off with going after Jay White
Yeah,
before the match even began. They were fighting outside, threw each other back in afterwards, but Jay White and Penta El Zero Miedo had a slapping battle. Of course, Jay White's like, take off your shirt. I want to be able to slap you. Meat to meat, pretty much.
well, they're not big meaty men, but they do like slapping meat.
But yeah, Penta El Zero Miedo did take off his
He took off that
protective
muscle tee, I guess you could call it.
in a way, and then Jay White and Penta El Zero Miedo were slapping each other, and fortunately, Penta El Zero Miedo was able to get the job done as Jay White gets the help, beats Penta El Zero Miedo with the help of Juice Robinson, and he had something to say after the match, and the fans chant, "You suck." And Jay White says, "You know who sucks? It's MJF, because where is MJF? He isn't here. And you know who is here? Jay. Claims unlike MJF, he's a real world champion and a truly elite world champion. Jay White has been waiting for that answer. Has been waiting for an answer of if he's got three men against, if he's got three men to take on Bullet Club Gold, because as you know, throw out the challenge, and it seems like that that Claim and Daddy Ass want to try to help out MJF, but MJF doesn't want their help. He'd rather get the help from Adam Cole and a few others. But the problem is that do you think that MJF might have no choice to have to get help from the Claim and Daddy Ass, because they might be the only ones that are there to help him out, especially with Adam Cole being hurt,
Yeah.
and needing two ankle surgeries,
hmm
which I'm pretty sure he already has, even though in storyline it's kind of acting like he hasn't had surgery yet. Pretty sure he has. Uh,
Well, interestingly enough, you can tell that they're pre-taped because, first of all, Adam Cole has been really growing out a beard
oh,
on his
really?
Twitch streams, and because Roddy Strong has shaved his beard into a mustache.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna
So
say it
yeah,
makes
they're
sense.
they're definitely pre-taped,
I was gonna
and
say they would have to
and
be
and yeah, I'm pretty sure at this point, Adam Cole has already gone on to have his two ankle
ankle surgery.
surgeries,
Yeah.
which is just very unfortunate timing for Adam Cole, anyways, because earlier this year he was, practically like unsure of even if he had a career anymore
I know.
with the what was that, concussion.
I think so. Really
And
bad
then
concussion.
by the end of this year, that's when he falls off, or he trips up trying to jump off the stage for a grand
Well,
slam,
he
and then
also it
he
was a very
injured.
tall stage, and then he jumped off and then
Yeah,
landed very gingerly on the ground, and you could see that something was up because he was just not walking very
yeah, he
great
was he was
afterwards.
limping
But yeah, pretty much blew out his ankles.
basically.
But again, we're gonna get back on topic. Jay White has been waiting for that answer to see who could face off. If he can have some guys go up against his guys in Bullet Club or against Bullet Club Gold, but so far we have not had the answer. quite yet. And then the reason why it's taken so long is because he can't find anyone to team up with MJF to take on Bullet Club Gold to get back his world championship. Juice Robinson says after he wins the tournament, he will knock out MJF and take his ring and going to pawn it off and promises us he will get another gold tooth. Thoughts? Well, yeah, he did win.
I didn't even know that Juice Robinson had a gold
Well,
tooth.
first we'll talk about, that match, but spoiler alert, yes, Juice Robinson did win. He will face off against MJF later tonight. And I honestly think that, how about this? We'll talk about it more when we get down to that match. It was our main event. It was a main event of Dynamite, by the way, which kind of felt a little weird.
Yeah, if you ask me, I think the main event should have been Fletcher and Omega.
Yeah, I think so. So we got into the AEW Women's World Championship Eliminator match between Hikaru Shida and Emi Sakura, and Emi Sakura really was putting on a fight with Hikaru Shida there. Honestly, I mean, this was a really good match. It's just sad that you bring on somebody that's not prominently used on AEW television as much as Emi Sakura, and she puts on better women's matches than half the women on your damn roster. That's saying something.
Well, not to mention the whole all-in debacle with Emi Sakura, considering for the first year or so that AEW was around, her gimmick was largely based off of Freddie Mercury.
Yeah.
And
now her gimmick is
in Wembley Stadium and nowhere to be seen. So it's that was a real big knife in the back to Emi Sakura.
She's not really prominently on. She's not really on the roster, though. That's the thing.
Let her have her moment in Wembley. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I agree. But really, that's not really her gimmick right now. Her gimmick is more so she's the queen, and we gotta bow down to the queen.
Well,
so
it's kind of a tongue-in-cheek reference, anyways. Queen, Freddie Mercury. It's kind of a tongue-in-cheek reference.
Yeah.
Of but
again, it is what it is. But again, Hikaru Shida was able to beat Emi Sakura, so Emi Sakura does not get no future AEW Women's World Championship match.
Yeah, and it kind of makes you wonder why they have these eliminator.
But if you think about it, it kind of makes sense, because then if she was to win it and win the title, then you gotta make her official roster member. So it makes sense for her to not lose. But it was nice to see the student beat the master here. Student beat the teacher. So again, congratulations to Hikaru Shida. I hope that she's gonna have a fantastic run with the AEW Women's Championship. Her second reign, by the way.
Well, third.
Oh, is it her third?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because she won it from Toni Storm, and then she lost it at All In to Saraya.
Yeah.
And she beat her not even a month or two after.
Right.
To basically claim it back.
All right, so we're gonna continue here. Adam Copeland had a sit-down interview, had his debacle with Renee Paquette and rebuttal. Rated R rebuttal, that's right. And is still confused because he wanted to finish his career with Christian Cage. And then Christian Cage sounded on board with it and was talking to Tony Khan about that, but Christian Cage really didn't want that. And then talk about being friends from all the way back in the 6th grade. And then we get to high school and college and wrote into a wrestling essay contest, and both of them enter it and let the best man win. And Adam Copeland wrote in, but Christian Cage didn't. And fast forward a year, and Adam Copeland was giving Christian Cage the confidence to start his training, and fast forward even further, and Adam Copeland gets the dream gig, and for 6 months he was in the ear of everyone and was talking about his partner being great. You're going to love him, and truly has always loved Christian Cage, and believed he was the most underrated wrestler in the history of the industry. And it's always been the two of them, and stuck by that. but that's been a cancer that Christian Cage has let stir and cloud his decision making. And Christian Cage said that Adam Copeland had a rocket strapped to his back, meaning that he's basically just, gotten shoehorned right to the top while he had to fight his way to earn every opportunity, which honestly I
Yeah,
think is
which
probably
I
true.
mean, yeah, because Edge, as soon as him and Christian broke apart in WWE, he just got pushed like almost immediately to the moon.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he won Money in the Bank like nearly a year later, cashed in on John Cena after the
Yeah,
Elimination
a
Chamber and New Year's
bloody, I was gonna say
Revolution.
a bloodied John Cena
Yes,
in
a not
2006. By the way,
100% John Cena. So I mean, it kind of like the odds kind of worked against John Cena in that.
which it's funny because
But like,
Carlito didn't even
yeah,
realize that it was supposed to happen. He didn't realize like the spot of how everything was going to happen when that match happened. And then when Edge came out with the briefcase, it's like, oh, that's why we had the spot like we did in Elimination Chamber. But again, yeah, it kind of did seem like it ever, because Christian Cage
and
was trying to
well,
go on his own in
even more
2005,
so.
2006.
Yeah, even more so. By like literally when Edge was having his whole like Christian was down in TNA.
Yeah, Christian
Like
Cage.
literally, like
Christian was down in TNA, making a name for himself in
yeah,
TNA. I mean,
yeah, because he
for
was
God's
released
sake,
in
he was a
2005.
multiple time NWA slash
I
TNA
think
world champion.
I think 3-time NWA champion before he came back in I want to say '09, '08. It was somewhere around
So
that
I
time.
mean,
But yeah,
Christian
like
Cage, it
and
sucks.
then by the time that Christian had come back to WWE, Edge had already been established as like a multi-time WWE slash World Heavyweight Champion.
Right. So I mean,
So
I guess he kind of has a point of saying that. And then if it wasn't for Adam Copeland, Christian Cage would still be working an IT job, wondering what if. In Toronto,
mm,
Ontario, Canada. If Adam Copeland wasn't opening doors for Christian Cage, and Adam Copeland hasn't come to any other conclusion to why Christian Cage is acting the way he's acting. And it seems like Christian Cage is still jealous of Adam Copeland and his accomplishments. Yeah, maybe. Maybe that's the reason why he said yourself. Um, so maybe. I mean, but continuing on. Um, And Anna Copeland is wondering why still have to do this after all this time. And Adam Copeland says that Christian Cage is riding high right now, that, and that he doesn't want to take away the spotlight or the TNT championship. Which I don't believe that for a damn second.
well, it might be true, but I even told Jason outside of the show, I'm like, I really think that Adam Copeland might not want to like
I feel like this is going to be an opportunity.
he
Okay,
might not want to initially like
no. I
but
know
Christian
exactly what's
Cage is
going to
going to
happen.
push him into.
What if Christian Cage does a storyline where like he goes to like Adam Copeland's house and tries to like threaten like Beth
Threaten
Phoenix
Beth
and
or
his kids.
Lyric and
It's
Ruby.
like if you're not gonna, and then Christian Cage would be like, if you're not gonna face me for this TNT championship, I'm just gonna go to your house and I'm gonna be their new daddy. They're gonna have a real father that's actually gonna give a crap about them, type of thing. And then Adam Copeland's like, you know what, Christian Cage, I accept their challenge. We will compete for a TNT championship at Full Gear. Is that what you want to hear? Yeah, yes, Adam. That's exactly what I want to hear. So I think it's going to be one of those things where
That's
Christian
kind of
Cage
like
has got to get it out of Adam Copeland.
I was gonna say
Get this
it's kind of
fire
like
out of
my
Adam
point.
Copeland.
Kind of like my point of like, oh well, you know, Edge doesn't want to do it, but Christian's gonna push him into accepting a match.
You just said Edge. It's actually Adam Copeland, but
yeah. Okay, Tony Khan and MJF. Yeah, we have Edge. Whoa. Adam Copeland.
And then Actually, Renee asks him, if you don't want all of that, what do you want at this point of your career? He's like, to be truthfully honest, I don't know. But what I do know is that eventually Nick Wayne and Luchasaurus will leave Christian Cage high and dry, and then when that happens, Adam Copeland will be there to pick him up. You're asking a lot out of Christian Cage. I do think that eventually Nick Wayne and Luchasaurus are going to turn on Christian Cage, but I don't think that's going to be right away.
Yeah.
I think that something's got to give. There's got to be some breaking point where Adam Copeland has no choice to accept the challenge for Christian Cage and his TNT Championship.
I mean, obviously, Adam Copeland doesn't need the TNT Championship.
Oh, yeah, especially with his 25-year-plus career in WWE. At this point, he does not need a championship at all.
But even more so, it's like, what would Adam Copeland do with the TNT Championship?
I mean, as much as I would love to see Adam Copeland and Christian Cage together one last time, riding high, win those tag team titles, and
I just don't think it needs to happen right now anyway.
I just don't think that Christian Cage wants to do that. He is riding high as a singles competitor. I just don't think that he wants to be a tag team guy again right now.
He's not ready to make that transition yet.
No, not at all. But
and even then, it's a slow build before you have Nick Wayne and Luchasaurus turn on Christian Cage. It's a slow build to after that happens, like Christian Cage is like, okay, well, I've got nobody. And then Adam Copeland is like, hey, you have me. Remember why we came here in the first place. Remember why I came here in the first place.
Yeah, I can see something like that. But again, I think that something's going to draw Adam Copeland to have no choice to take this match for Full Gear. And honestly, if so, that's going to be a good match. It will really test the limits of if Adam Copeland can really face off in a true professional wrestling match, to be truthfully honest with you. So I'm ready to see if it's actually going to happen like that. Not really much to talk about this next match. Wardlow basically squashes Ryan Nemeth with one powerbomb, by the way. And then Tony Schiavone gets in the ring and says, "We know you're back, but why are you back?" And Wardlow shows on this wrist tape MJF. Thoughts on that one?
He wants to go after the world title.
He wants that world championship. And it makes you wonder if MJF should retain against Jay White, because there's so many great opponents that he has not gone up against. They're willing to challenge for MJF for the world championship. You got
Jay White,
Samoa Joe.
Yep.
You have Kenny Omega.
Yes.
And you also have Wardlow.
Yeah.
So those are three opponents he's never gone up against for the world championship. So I'm really thinking that it might have to change my mind. I really think that MJF. Whoa, what if that actually does happen? What if MJF retains, and it gets to 2024, and people are like, "Oh man, he's got the AEW championship. Is he going to take the AEW World Championship to WWE with him?"
Obviously, legalities would kind of prevent that, but it makes people make people think that, like, oh, he still hasn't signed a contract yet. Like, he's got the AEW World Championship. He's going to hold it hostage going to WWE. And it's like, yeah, no.
But then again, there's part of me that would love to see Jay White win the title, because, I mean, he just looks really great as the world champion, and it does fit him, and he's riding high. He hasn't lost one singles match ever since debuting in AEW.
Right. The Bang Bang Gang runs AEW, baby.
But again, there's a very big, strong case to having MJF retain and then Jay White winning. So I think that this match at Full Gear is going to be great, and I would be okay with whoever wins, to be truthfully honest with you. I don't think I have one over the other right now. Of course, we got some time. We have less than a month away till Full Gear at Kia Forum.
Yep.
But yeah. We're going to stop recording for right now and pause this. Actually, we're going to pause. Sorry for everybody that watches on YouTube and Facebook Watch. Our cat got up, so we had to yell at him, so we had to pause it for that moment. But again, yeah, I can see. I know I'm not big on. Honestly, I don't really care who wins between the both of them, but you can make a strong case for either or. Speaking of Kenny Omega plans on going after the Don Callis family, and could we see he says, oh, we could see the Kenny Omega of old and going after the world championship. And then MJF and Kenny shake hands backstage, and then MJF says to Kenny Omega, 13 days, bitch, which means 30 days until I'm the longest reigning AEW world champion.
Yeah.
In the history of AEW,
which is before he ties with Kenny.
And then Kenny Omega says, "We'll see about that." Thoughts? It's kind of interesting to see Kenny says, "We'll see about that." Like he thinks that he's gonna win it from him, but I don't think that's going to be the case. But then again, Jay White could be the world champion from Full Gear. Yeah. But then again, we'll happen to see.
Maybe.
No, it's 13 days until he's the longest reigning world champion. Right. Yeah.
I was going to say, because I think he's already tied Kenny Omega. Or maybe, but yeah.
Right. So, Don Callis' family comes out and he has something to say and has made history in over 30 years, and Chris Jericho has never been manhandled like he was before last week when Powerhouse Hobbs broke him in half. And Powerhouse Hobbs says, February 22nd, 1998, was supposed to be the best day of his life, and a chance to meet his hero, Chris Jericho. And his grandmother got him front row tickets to meet him. And what did you do, Chris? He walked past that old lady, told her to shut up, and walked past him and told him to sit his ass down. 25 years later, Powerhouse Hobbs held on to frustration, a 7-year-old child, but he swore that day he got to look him square in the eyes that he was going to hurt Chris Jericho. As Powerhouse Hobbs looked over Chris Jericho, he was lifeless, so what did Powerhouse Hobbs do? He picked his ass up and spine busted him and was told to bottle up the hate by everyone he supposedly loved but has a new family, a real family like the Don Callis family. And you can be who you are, and the Don Callis family are on fire right now and undefeated except for one match where Sammy Guevara was hurt and says Kyler Fletcher screwed the Don Callis family. Oh yeah, Kyle Fletcher. Sorry. And screws over the Don Callis family, and Kyle Fletcher says he doesn't need anyone's help to beat anyone, and if he beats his opponent, he might get a business opportunity to discuss. Well, we'll get on to the next thing. Unfortunately, that did not happen as Kenny Omega and Kyle Fletcher, man. These two men, Kyle Fletcher has been nothing but, doing pretty good at things as a singles competitor right now. Yeah. While Mark Davis is hurt. But Kenny Omega does actually beat Kyle Fletcher. So no, Kyle
Fletcher did not join the Don Callis family, nor did he get a business opportunity.
So it looks like Danhausen should be coming back soon.
Yes.
Can we see the return of Hookhausen?
I don't know about that. I don't even know if we get Orange Cassidy in Danhausen.
Honestly, if Danhausen returns...
Obviously, he's still part of the Best Friends.
I would like to see him maybe used on Collision or Dynamite or so. Or if not, return to how he was in ROH back before signing with AEW. So, yeah. Not much that happened with this match. Lance Archer beats Baron Brown. There was a lot of those kind of matches that happened, unfortunately.
I do love that match in particular because of the way that Justin Roberts announced Lance Archer.
Oh yeah, Lance Archer.
taking his opponent down the ring,
Yeah.
or like down to the ring, or it
Yeah.
was something like that. It was funny as hell.
So yes, Sting's last match will be Revolution 2024. Who should his final match be against? I'm thinking Darby Allin. It makes sense. It propels Darby Allin to the next level by beating the icon
Yeah,
Sting.
I would say, um, I
And
would say Ric Flair, but
s-
just
speaking of Ric
no.
Flair, he's supposedly supposed to be in attendance or be by ringside to watch his former rival final match.
Oh,
So, because currently Ric Flair is not under contract with WWE, so he could be
yeah,
legally obligated to actually be able to show up for
but
that
I
with
think
no
he has a
repercussion.
Legends deal.
I don't think he actually has got any kind of deal right now. I don't think he's got a Legends deal or anything like that. So he can show up on AEW right now if he wanted to.
Hmm.
So there could be a possibility that he actually is ringside for that match. But again, I think Darby would make sense. Um, I don't think he should. But then I also saw something that what if he just, retiring from AEW but again goes to WWE because there was articles
Not
going
gonna
there's
happen.
articles going around that said, "Oh well, Taker said, there's no nothing there's still possibly like a final match that could happen." And then Sting said he always wanted to go up against The Undertaker, and they were saying something like, "Oh, they could face off at WrestleMania 40, against each other." I'm like, I don't know if I would be okay
I
with
don't
that.
know.
I think
Yeah,
Sting's time is just up. He
I
should just
think
stay
yeah.
retired. So should be the Undertaker. Undertaker should stay retired. But again,
Well,
knowing the
that's the thing
Undertaker,
too. Is
unfortunately, I don't think he's
yeah. Well, see, that's
done
the thing
yet.
too. Is Sting signed a multi-year deal with AEW, but you know, with him being retired, they might like I don't know what they would do, but I mean, I just from like March to like beginning of April or like the end of the month, that's not a long time. You know, it's too soon to have. Not to mention, I don't even know the legalities of like having Sting perform at Mania.
Yeah,
So
I have no idea either. But
yeah,
um,
like if
but
it
again,
happens, it happens. If it doesn't, then
I can see it when
But
it gets towards Revolution time. It'd be like Darby's gonna be like, you know what, Sting, I would be honored, to be your final opponent. You know, so I could see it
but
something like
well,
that.
see, here's the thing. I don't know that Sting could even handle Darby's fast-paced offense. I don't know that Sting would be safe in a match against Darby Allin. Because like if you're gonna have his final match, then you gotta have it be with somebody that like
Unless you have it in like a tag team match, but again, we
I
shall
don't
see.
know that Sting's last match should be a tag team match. I mean, with all due respect, because but however, to best protect Sting, I think that's probably like the safest move. But we'll see what they do.
So we're gonna get on to the last match of Dynamite. It was the Dynamite Dozen Battle Royal, and to no surprise, Juice Robinson wins the
Yep.
Battle Royal and will face MJF later tonight for the ring. Um, hate to say it, MJF. I think this is going to be the time that Juice Robinson actually wins it.
Yeah.
Bullet Club Gold has been riding high. I think it's
Well,
time to
not to
get
mention,
Juice Robinson in the ring.
not to mention, I don't think that MJF loses clean to Juice Robinson for the ring. I don't think he
Mm,
loses clean.
probably
I think
not, but
I think Juice Robinson wins via like Bullet Club Gold interference or something.
right. So we're
So
gonna get on to the Rampage side of things, and this match was pretty
yeah, this
damn
is
good.
like probably the first time in what,
A while that we talked about
not since
Rampage.
Collision like
Basically,
first
first
started.
started, yeah.
Yeah,
Mystico faces off against Rocky Romero. This was
this
a
was the match to
CMLL
watch.
type match,
Yeah,
and
see,
actually had
yeah, the
now. Okay, if there's
what did they
anything I
call it?
really want to talk about this match, what the hell was that ref doing? The 1, 2. I'm sorry. What
Yeah,
the hell is that? Like like it's
a lot of people were
every.
a lot of people were questioning even the finish of like what the referee was doing
I'm.
because he because I
He was also kind of pinning quite fast too.
well yeah that plus what actually like because people posted the clip on like Twitter and everything uh during the finish when Mystico had Rocky Romero um in the armbar,
Hmm.
like the ref actually was like looking to go in for a pin, but like noticed that it was a submission. He was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, like okay."
Yeah, almost
So
like he was confused on what was going on with everything like
yeah, I
that.
was gonna say he was kind of like out of it and like put in like way too much effort to make a pinfall and even to like you know throw in that added effect of like, oh no, he kicked out. It's like no, I gotta
Yeah, I mean,
so
like the
uh
whole near
and yeah,
falls like
it
was
was what a
quite
2 out of 3
interesting.
falls match,
Yeah, it
right?
was a two
Yeah.
out of three falls match.
Um, what did they call it? It was like the CMLL like king of the king of the uh
I don't know,
it was something like that. But
but all in all,
basically, it was Rocky Romero, who was
yeah, I
the
got the first.
CMLL what welterweight, and
Yes,
then Mystico is the CMLL middleweight,
yeah, I think
something like that.
what
Yeah.
Mystico got the first fall, Rocky
Yes.
Romero got the second, and then Mystico got
Mystico got
the final
the final fall by
fall and
submission.
beats Rocky Romero.
Yes.
Um, so this match is actually going to happen on Rampage, but I think it should happen on like
I know. I
Dynamite or
agree.
Collision.
I think
But
you need a bigger
Mike
stage for that.
Santana
But
will face off against Ortiz Friday on Rampage. Thoughts? This is going to be a bloodbath battle. I mean, this is going to be a brutal
I don't know so much
match.
if it's gonna be a bloodbath, but there's definitely
But
some pent up
again,
animosity between the two
I
that's gonna
mean,
be
see, the thing is, like, you put on Rampage, like, like, I feel like you were just, like, trying to force people to watch Rampage at this
and
point.
stick around after Dynamite for
Yeah,
the fans in
so,
attendance.
because people are gonna wanna, because people are gonna wanna, um, people are gonna wanna, watch this match because,
Yeah,
they wanna see how Santana and
they want to see
Ortiz
the
are gonna,
culmination of yeah.
um, I'm hoping this, like, can lead into maybe Full Gear, to be honest with you, but to put this on Rampage, I don't know if I agree with. But again, this is gonna be a battle for the ages right here. I might just watch Rampage maybe just for that match, to be truthfully honest with you, because right now we do not really watch Rampage. We only really
Yeah,
watched it because all the matches look good and it was like and felt real.
right.
So we got into our next match. This is not really much to talk about it. Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta beat Exodus Prime and Brian Keith. Hence why we really don't watch Rampage, because we get a lot of those kind of matches. No offense to,
Yeah,
um, but yeah. So, but there is going to be a match that's going to happen on Dynamite, which I think is big to talk about. The Elite will face off against the Hardys and Brothers Safe for the ROH six-man tag team championships. Thoughts?
yeah.
It would be nice to see the Hardys and Brothers Safe win and become the ROH six-man tag team
But
champions.
what good would come out? Like what? How would that propel the Hardys? You know what I mean?
I don't know. It would give them a championship and it would be something for them.
But that's a championship that I feel like they don't really need.
Yeah,
The
but
ones
they're
that they
not really going.
need
And yes, I know the ones that they need is the AEW World Tag Team Championships. But
ultimately before they retire.
the thing is that it just I think Tony Khan has no faith in the Hardys right now, and it sucks. It really does because I think they should be
Yeah,
utilized on Dynamite and Collision a little bit more. Actually, it felt nice to see them. Speaking of Hardys, they were actually in the Dynamite Dozen Battle Royal, so it was actually nice to see them on Dynamite for once, even though it was kind of
yeah,
short lived. But it'll be nice to see. Actually, again, we'll get to see them on Dynamite again. So it'll be nice to see, all of them on there. But yeah, I could probably see the Elite retaining, but it would be cool to see the Hardys and Brothers they win. I think, you know, they would make a great trio, a great 6-man tag team champion. Um,
yeah.
so yeah, I think it's going to be a good match to see on Dynamite later tonight. So we get on to what is this? The final match, right? Yeah.
Yes, this is the main event of.
Ruby Soho and Sky Blue. Um, Sky Blue had
Yeah,
Scooby Doo inspired gear, which actually looked
it's
really cool, by
it's
the way.
interesting though because like she has Scooby Doo inspired gear,
Hmm.
but yet she's like kind of portraying more of like a dark character. So it like the attire doesn't really match the persona in a way, which is like you
Right.
know, but even more so, Collision was like kind of an interesting, and we'll get to that.
Yeah, but before we do, yeah, Ruby Soho actually beat Sky Blue with the help of Soraya, and then Sky Blue gets beaten up after the match, and then out comes Chris Statlander to even the odds. And Chris Statlander was trying to help her up, and Sky Blue didn't want anything to do with her thoughts. Um,
Yeah,
it's interesting to see what's going on with that because we'll talk about the match with both Chris Statlander and Willow Nightingale
yeah,
on Battle of the
yeah.
Belts.
Oh, it
That
was that. That's right.
yes, so we'll talk about that. But it does seem interesting that Sky Blue is just not wanting to deal with her former friends too much at
Yeah,
all.
like
Um,
she's kind of battling a like you know she's in a battle that like she doesn't know where she stands or even where she wants to stand.
right.
So
So Brian Danielson, we're going on the collision side of things. Brian Danielson faces off against Andrade El Idolo. These two men battled each other. Brian Danielson was using a lot of technical wrestling on Andrade. Andrade
mhm.
was, they had a slap battle, slap fest. Their chests were
Yeah,
beat red.
well, especially Andrade after the match.
Yes, and then Andrade was trying to get to figure eight on Brian, but Brian Danielson was able to finally get out of it by putting his hand on a rope. Um, and man, Brian Danielson was able to beat Andrade El Idolo. And then after the match, the lights go out.
Yes,
Who could it be? We don't know who it could be. We get a returning Malachi
yes,
Black. Just gave Brian Danielson the end after the
yes,
match. What could this mean? It means the House of Black are back and
yes,
are in business
yes.
on their show.
Yep.
They're ready to cause havoc. They want those probably World Trios
But
Tag Team titles yet again.
a lot of people were taking notice at the fact that Malachi didn't have his uh,
Yeah, but that doesn't
painted
matter.
face.
Even before their hiatus, he didn't either. So
Yeah, he did.
I mean, there were some times where he didn't. So I mean, maybe it was just a moment where
No,
okay.
it was white paint, but he had his face painted.
But again, I mean,
So
I don't know. I don't see it as anything bad. I think that he's still going to be heavily involved with the House of Black. I
Yeah.
mean,
Well, it's funny because like people were looking at it as like, oh, he didn't have his eye must be healed. It's like, nah, his eye still isn't healed because he's still got the colored contact,
yeah,
but he's just not wearing the paint.
yeah. I mean, I think it was just because it was in the moment and probably didn't want to have to like, you know, put
I don't
some
know if
on.
it's about that. I think there's a deeper lore behind why he didn't paint his face when he came back.
Yeah, I think when they start competing again as a trio, I think they will.
Maybe,
And honestly, I
but
can see them as
well,
much as I would not like to
yeah,
see them face off against the Acclaimed Daddy Ass for those World Trios tag team titles. It would not shock me if they end up
yeah.
winning them again.
But so what? What's interesting though is Malachi removed the face paint while Sky Blues is like starting to like really the paint is like growing within her. So it's like there's some lore with Malachi and especially with Sky Blue. It's like just Malachi is a master storyteller. Like he's definitely true like he
Right.
gets it. So
So, I mean, a lot of these next matches might come up pretty quick, but there wasn't really
oh,
much.
by the way,
What's up?
her name is actually not that.
Not Hollywood Haley.
It's Holly Hood.
Holly Hood
Yes.
Haley? Okay, then.
And
All right.
I know she's white. It's like
So Sky Blue beats, okay, Holly Hood
Holly Hood Haley.
Haley, not Hollywood.
Yeah.
And then the Guns beat the Outrunners, and then we get to
Yeah.
see on the screen. It looks like the devil has appeared, and then people are like chanting MJF, MJF.
It's not him.
It's not MJF.
Not him.
Who could it be? There's speculation that I'm thinking it might be Sammy Callahan
Especially
because
with the way that like the he like kind of not necessarily or not no he didn't do it that time but like when he turned his head the camera kind of like and that's definitely very like hacker kind of could he possibly bring his hacker like gimmick to AEW.
yeah, I think so. And also, by the way, multiple sources confirmed that he was backstage to try to strike a deal with Tony Khan. Maybe it has been official and they will not announce it until Full Gear, where he could very well show up and, beat down MJF or whoever has the title, or probably beat down MJF after the match or so. Could he potentially be MJF's next opponent?
I don't know so much about that because he targeted Jay White. So
Oh,
maybe he'll
see,
attack Jay White to help MJF win at Full Gear.
possible. Could be possible.
But
That'd be
then
interesting
but
to
then it
see.
would also start a feud possibly with MJF because of the fact that he took MJF's devil mask.
Yeah.
So
And I think that he might be the only one that could actually fit into the whole devil costume in a way.
well, it's interesting too because he was because the guy that was in the costume was like kind of slimmer, and he's kind of like a big guy.
So yeah, there could be speculation that maybe it's not him after all.
But who's to say that they like kind of play some trickery with us and they have this guy that's like rather bigger show up at Full Gear. He's in the devil mask and he does his whole thing and then he takes the mask off and he's like, "Oh yeah." You know,
That could be
Sammy
possible
Callahan.
too,
So,
because we don't know exactly who it could be at this point. It could be. I mean, then also the other speculation I had was, what if it's Kyle O'Reilly?
that might be
That I feel like
more.
it's
Yeah,
more possible because
he kind of fits the stature too of
yeah,
like the guy that.
I think it might be more so Kyle O'Reilly because we haven't seen him on AEW television, and what better
Yeah,
way to have him come back in into a MGF Adam Cole type of storyline because he's a
yeah.
former
Well,
friend.
not to mention,
See, I could see him
it
join
makes the
up.
most sense anyways because like then, uh, and because then Kyle O'Reilly kind of gets into a little bit of a
I feel like we're gonna get a undisputed elite type of faction starting up soon, and they're just planting the seeds because if it's Kyle O'Reilly,
yeah.
you would have um,
Well, obviously we don't have Bobby Fish there, but
Mike Bennett, Matt
yeah,
Taven, Roderick Strong,
yep,
possibly Kyle O'Reilly, and then
yeah.
Adam Cole joining up with them. Now that would be
Well, it wouldn't be the undisputed elite,
it would be
but
probably the
it
Kingdom.
would be, yeah.
Yeah, I could see a Kingdom faction showing up soon,
We need
and
the kingdom back
they're kind of
anyways.
planting the
Yeah.
seeds. And you know what? Okay,
I mean, the kingdom kind of started out as a faction anyways before they really
as far
broke off into
as
a,
far as Sammy Callahan, I think they can find a way to bring him in if he truly has signed a deal.
yeah.
So we'll definitely have to watch and see what's happening. But so we get on to the next match. Man, this match got brutal between Jeff Jarrett and Eddie Kingston.
Yeah, it did.
It was a Memphis street fight, and it felt like it.
Yeah.
For
So, by the way, um, funny enough, while Collision was happening, I was actually like simultaneously watching that and Bound for Glory, which, by the way, I have my iPad here. Uh, I will do Bound for Glory talk on my own in a separate uh, episode,
right.
so stay tuned for that.
But yeah, Jeff Jarrett was able to beat Eddie Kingston with the help of Jay Lethal,
Yep,
his wife Karen, and
Satnam,
all those other people.
Sanjay, yep,
And then Jay Lethal now gets his shot at the
yes.
ROH World Championship, which I'm sure is going to happen at Final Battle,
Probably.
if not beforehand. Who knows?
I mean, I know AEW is not only having Full Gear in November, but in December they're having a pay per view also.
Hmm.
So, which actually, while we're here, it was just announced earlier today at the time that we're recording this that Final Battle in December will, first of all, it will take place on December 15th, but also will be exclusively on Honor Club.
Yeah, it's a big step for them going forward. I hope all ROH pay-per-views are going to be on Honor Club going forward
I
because
mean,
I
it
don't think
only
you.
makes sense anyways because,
I mean, you're already paying monthly for it, so you might as well put the pay-per-views on there. I
well,
just
not to
saying
mention, I'm sure a lot of people don't want to have to spend like $50
for an ROH
between,
pay-per-view.
well, between like an AEW pay per view at like, say, the start of the month, and then by the end of the month, they got to spend another $50 for another pay per view, kind of like what they did with All In and All Out.
Yeah,
However, Tony Khan has gone on record to say that he tried to get a bundle but couldn't for All In and All Out.
right.
But, so
So we get on to our next match. This one actually was pretty alright. I wouldn't say it was maybe the greatest, but Action
they
Andretti was
did give it a
definitely
lot of time,
yeah, they
surprisingly,
did. Action Andretti was
for quite possibly a squash match,
yeah,
let's
I
be
know.
honest.
Action Andretti was really trying to get as much as in as he can on
Yeah.
Miro and was able to really get it on, but Miro was up,
So, oh, no, go ahead. Um,
but Miro was able to beat Action Andretti.
so, yeah, and during the match, I didn't actually even pay attention to this until somebody pointed it out on Twitter. CJ Perry is definitely, like, scheming people. And, like, she's definitely, like, you know, because somebody pointed out that while Miro was getting like all of the offense in on her like client, quote unquote, she actually had a grin on her face every time she saw her client being decimated by Miro. And then when her client would start like getting in the offense and everything, she had a look of concern. So it's all a ruse to have CJ Perry back with Miro
Yeah.
to be to be his manager.
Yeah.
So
As much as Miro would not like to have CJ Perry be his manager, it's gonna happen.
it's gonna happen.
And then I think
Yeah.
it's gonna propel Miro to the next level and be able to fight off against for championships in a
It would
way.
be nice because honestly, like you've already done the whole song and dance with Miro
Hmm.
as, like you had him as the TNT champion, booked very prominently, very strong, and then you had him lose it to Sammy Guevara in Rochester, which, that's all fine. Like, I kind of understood why, but then, like, after that, they didn't really do anything with Miro, and it's like, how could you drop the ball with Miro?
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that this really, propels Miro into a prominent um, role, or not role, but like I just hope that they book Miro prominently after the fact.
Yeah, I
So
agree. Um, so we're going to continue on because we're kind of running short on time.
yeah,
Ruby Soho will face off against Hikaru Shida later tonight for the AEW Women's World Championship. Thoughts? As much as I think Ruby Soho probably deserves a chance at the World Championship, I think that time has kind of sailed for her to even get anywhere close to possibly winning one.
I mean, here's the thing though, and I was saying this to Jason too. It's like something tells me that they're gonna do Hikaru Shida dirty again and have Ruby Soho be the women's world champion.
Well, at least I would hope not, but
I would
who
hope not
knows?
either because that would be really petty to do to Hikaru Shida, especially twice. But you know, like yeah, I kind of am in the same boat though. Like, well, you've already given Ruby Soho like chance after chance after chance of
Yeah,
earning a championship, not just the world championship for the women. Like she was in the finals of the TBS title tournament and lost to Jade Cargill. Then she challenged for it, I'm pretty sure, again, like
yeah.
later.
I don't know. It is.
Yeah, and
I
then the countless world title opportunities. Like, yeah, but
Yeah, this is kind of just like it seemed like it's just like a
if
thrown
the end
together
goal for
together
having her
match.
chase the championship isn't to win it eventually, then what are you doing?
Yeah, as much as I wouldn't want to see her win the world championship, I guess it would make sense in a way. I don't know. FTR and House of Black are in the ring, and House of Black beat down FTR. Thoughts? They're just on a roll. I don't know, man. It's crazy of what is going on with all of this itself. But it's gonna get to our next the next match here as
The
Ricky
main
Starks
event
and Big Bill face off against Claudio Castagnoli and Willer Yuta. Right? Yeah.
yeah, this was the main event. Yeah,
And it was actually a pretty good match. I mean, Ricky Starks and Big Bill were just doing everything they could. Claudio was, trying to, put on a really
well,
good,
Claudio and Wheeler.
um,
You
yeah,
forgot about Yuta.
Wheeler Yuta. Claudio Castagnoli really did put on a really good upper cut train on Ricky Starks, but against Big Bill there on the outside didn't look as good. But yes, ultimately Ricky Starks and Big Bill do beat Claudio Castagnoli and Willer Yuta to retain the World Tag Team Championships with the help of House of Black. Then Brian Danielson,
Yeah.
FTR, and John Moxley even odds. Then beat down Ricky
Well,
Starks in the ring.
John Moxley returned
Yes, John
from
Moxley
injury.
has returned. 100. He got cleared from his injury, which I think was concussion.
Yeah. Yeah.
But again,
Well, so before we get into the next thing to transition into our next segment, Claudio Castagnoli swung Ricky Starks into the Battle of the Belt feed. It was kind of
yeah,
funny.
in a way. I mean, he stopped it kind of
He
beforehand, but
stopped a little before, but it's still like it's
He was definitely having some
yeah.
fun with Ricky
He still
Starks.
swung him into the bet. He's for the most part he swung Ricky Starks into the Battle of the Belt feed.
Yeah,
So
but we're getting on to Battle of the Belts. Orange Cassidy. I guess I can just talk about it here. Orange Cassidy beats John Silver to retain the international championship. John Silver did look good. I mean, he definitely shocked me because I was thinking, I was like, I don't know, does he deserve a title opportunity? But I think he definitely proved himself that he could potentially be a singles champion at one point. But fortunately, but
I don't know, man. If you ask me, I think the Dark Order fit more as like a as trios champions.
yeah,
I don't know necessarily that they should go after the AEW trio titles. I think they're, and I kind of hate to say that, but like they, to me, make more sense as the Ring of Honor six man tag champions.
right.
So
Um, it's interesting. In the backstage, CJ Perry looked like she was trying to convince Andrade El Idolo to be her
trying to quote unquote manage.
manage Andrade El
Yeah,
Idolo next. Not a good idea because
it's
Andrade
all a
and Miro is going
ploy.
to
It's
happen.
all a ploy because Miro is just gonna come right after Andrade El Idolo, and CJ Perry is just gonna hook, line, and sinker
Right.
make Miro believe that, oh yeah, I'm gonna be managing Andrade El Idolo now, and it's like, yeah, no, I'm really just gonna cheer on my husband, my man, from afar. He can't see it, but like, yeah, I definitely want to be his manager.
Right. So Samoa Joe beats Tony Nese to retain the ROH World TV Champion. It says he is coming for the AEW World Championship. It says you can give him what he wants, or he will force MJF to give him what he wants. Thoughts? That I can believe. You don't want to mess with him with Samoa Joe because either give me my AEW Championship or fight me or give me my AEW Championship. So it's going to be another one of those things. But yeah, I would say that the target is definitely getting wider
Yes.
for MJF as he is the AEW champion, but doesn't currently have the championship as Jay White stole it. Chris Statlander faced off against Willow Nightingale and beats her to retain the TBS championship. After the match, Sky Blue came out.
So this is what I'm talking about. Like, so she Willow
And Willow was
was
trying to
like,
extend her hand,
yeah,
and
and
then
Sky
Sky
Blue was
Blue is
like,
like,
no,
no, don't
no,
even shake
you
her
come
hand.
with me.
Come with me. But no,
but
Willow Nightingale still looks like she has her sanity as she shakes Chris Statlander's hand after the match
but
and leaves the ring without Sky Blue.
yes, but Sky Blue also her attire choice during that thing
Yeah.
is a little interesting.
One side
half black, half jeans.
Yeah.
Half black leather, half jeans.
Yeah, it was kind of odd to not see her wearing Converse All Stars too. She was actually wearing
it's
Nike
interesting
shoes.
you mentioned that though, because she has worn Nikes like before in like her casual attire, but for like her
ring gear,
she wears Converse.
Yeah.
So yeah,
it definitely felt weird. But yeah, we got into our final match, which is the Acclaim and Daddy Ass facing off against Matt Menard, Angelo Park, and Daniel Garcia. Daniel Garcia wanted to do that dance so badly, but Matt Menard was trying not to. But when Matt Menard and Angelo Parker were beating down, I think the Daddy Ass and somebody else outside, Daniel Garcia, fans like,
Daniel Garcia did the dance.
Do the dance. And he finally did the dance. That's what the fans want to see. Daniel Garcia, I hate to say it, but right now you're showing you're a sports entertainer. But Matt Menard's like, he's done with that sports entertainment crap. He wants him to be a professional wrestler. So,
but Daniel Garcia's not a wrestler anymore. He had his shot to be a wrestler when he was, doing the whole thing with Blackpool
he is
Combat
a
Club.
sports entertainer for a reason, and he shows it out there. But again, they couldn't get the job done as the Acclaim and Daddy Ass beat Matt Menard, Angelo Parker, and Daniel Garcia to retain the World Trios Tag Team Championships. And everybody, this is going to conclude this episode of No Final Bell. Thank you for getting us to 100 episodes. If it wasn't for you guys, we wouldn't be having it there. But what you can do for us to help us, continue more episodes for the future, you want to like, comment, subscribe, and follow for more. Hit that bell notification to get notified because YouTube won't notify you regardless if you don't hit that bell notification for all. Um, Make sure to that's our channel right there, Tinkle Sports Entertainment, and we are also on Facebook Watch if you do not want to watch us on YouTube. We also have Sunday Morning Tinkle every Sunday at 9 a.m. We have this show every Wednesday at 5, and Out of Turn 4 for the time being every Tuesday at 5 until a hiatus. As always, everyone, we'll catch you in the next video. Goodbye, everyone.